Okay, I'm playing around with GKC Game Kit Controller, the 3.03 update, and somebody asked me about making traps. So I'm gonna kind of try to stumble my way through this and make a trap based on what I saw another guy do the other day in the Discord. So I'm just gonna start by making an object that I'm gonna spawn to fall on him. So this is just a regular whatever model you want to use. I'm grabbing this piano. Delete that. Okay, so your object needs to have weight if it's going to be this. I mean, if you're going to have something fall. So I'm going to give this a rigid body and a box collider. But real rough. Okay, that's fine. So now in GKC there is something called the event trigger system. So it's a component you can add onto things, but I'm going to go ahead and just search for the prefabs of it. The project view here. Okay, so there's two different prefabs. One is event trigger system to detect player, and event trigger system to spawn object. And there's other things too that you can use for different things like this, but we're just going to focus on these two right now. So we're going to use this one, event trigger system to spawn object. Okay, so I'm going to drag it into my scene. There's the box collider that's going to be the trigger for it. We can make that bigger or smaller, whatever we want it. So when the player walks into this area, it's going to trigger this happening. Okay, and then debug stuff. Okay, and then we're going to go to the child of this object, which is the spawn object script component as a child on this system. Okay, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to drag my piano into here. So it's the item that's going to spawn. I'm going to tell it to spawn up here, what falls on the player. We don't need a layer because I'm not putting it on the ground. It's just in the air, so it doesn't really matter. So if you want to do a list, I guess you can do a list of objects there. You can store them. Okay, so there's a lot of options here. Okay, we can make this so this only happens one time. It doesn't just repeat happening or something like that. Okay. And then there is another component that is to damage the player on collision. Can't remember the name of it. Oh, damage character on collision right there. Okay. We're going to put this on the piano as well, so that when it collides with the player, it's going to damage the player. So you can set it so that unless it, you know, is at a certain velocity, then it won't damage the player. But we're just going to have it damage him no matter what. Okay. Alright, I'm going to save. And this piano I probably should save as a prefab as well. I'm going to do that. Guess this would be furniture and props. Okay. And I'm going to drag this delete the piano from the scene and drag it in from my project window. Okay, now I'm going to save my prefabs. And actually, I should have unpacked this. So, because if I change it before unpacking it, it's going to update the main prefab that came with GKC, the default prefab. So usually you want to like duplicate that and then or unpack it and rename it. So we're going to call this piano trap. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could save that as a prefab, which I think I will actually. Make a new folder in here. Okay, and I'm going to make that prefab there. Alright, now I'm going to test play mode and see if anything happens. Pardon my scene. A lot of things going on and a lot of different assets together, even though it doesn't look like a lot. That's not what I meant to do. What I meant to do. And I did not mean to do that either. Okay. Hey, it worked. Check that out. But I need to make the trigger and the thing smaller so it actually lands on the player. So we'll tweak that. Exit play mode. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to rotate the piano spawning position so that the piano spawns long ways or whatever. And I'm going to make the trigger collider smaller so that the player doesn't trigger it unless he's directly under the piano. Okay, so go back to our piano trap. Turn on gizmos. Or actually, I don't really need to, but okay. So there's my collider area. So we're gonna. Okay, so it's 4x4x4 here, so we can just make this smaller. We don't even have to scale the collider. Okay, so it's only gonna come when he's right underneath the piano. Now where's the piano at? Pick it up here. A little higher, I don't know. Okay, and then let's rotate it as well. Not sure because I can't see the piano right now, but this will at least be one way. Okay, I'm gonna save my scene, Control S. And I'm also gonna put a little marker on the ground right where the piano trap is so that I can see. Or actually we could attach a Here's something else we can do. You could attach it right onto there, but I'm going to make a child object. I'm going to unpack this. Create an empty object. I'm going to call it fire particles or whatever. Add a particle effect, particle system to it. And you could put any particle system on here now that you wanted. So for instance, I have a bunch of them. Actually, let's go to I'm not quite sure where I have those stored. Hang on here. Oh, VFX. There we go. So I'm going to go into these. Find one I like. So it can be an explosion or whatever. There's smoke. Let's just do a smoke that's lures him into the trap or something. Okay. Take this off. Okay, now we just have the smoke. Alright, let's test it out. Mm. Yep. Okay, so let's walk into the smoke and see if a piano hits us and if it damages us. It hit us. Didn't damage me, but see if we're getting there. Oh, check that out. Okay, that's kind of cool too. So we can fix that if we don't want that to happen, but that's kind of funny. Okay, they're not damaging me, so I need to check that damage on collision component. My computer is just howling right now, if you were here. Probably because those pianos don't have LODs and they're adding up. Okay, so we're going to check the damage on collision component, see why it's not damaging our player. Okay, go to our piano trap. Oh, actually, it's going to be on the piano prefab. Yeah, I'm just going to go do it this way. Okay, my prefabs, and then furniture and props. And piano. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I'm just going to go into the prefab, double click it. Okay, so I don't have that component on there, I don't think. So that's why it's not working. So we can just put it on here. We can make a child object for it, which is kind of just good practice, I think. We'll create empty. And I'm actually going to group all this other stuff together too. Actually right now. That's kind of annoying me. So I'm going to highlight all these piano keys. I'm going to put them in a parent called keys. And the rest of that's fine. Okay, now we're going to add one on here, a child. Call it damager. Like that for now, I don't know. Damage character on collision component. Damage enabled. Add force. Kill character on collision, so it should kill me instantly. If you don't do that, you can do other stuff. Damage amount and whatever, I imagine. Fix damage value down here if you want to. And we need to assign the main rigid body to it, which we put the rigid body on this component right there. Okay, so now our prefab is saved. Now I'm going to save my scene again, Control S. And then we're going to try play mode again. Happens. Hopefully we get success. I'm dead, so not sure what's broken here. Okay, well, I'm going to exit it again. Actually, I'm just going to stay in play mode. I'll move all these pianos out of the way. Just get rid of them. Yeah. Not sure if that's going to change anything, but I wonder if this needs to be on a certain layer. I'm not sure, but try it again. The collider just not big enough or something. Making this oversized just to test it and see if that's going to help us. I'm not sure what's broken. Okay, well, it's not the size of the collider because it's definitely colliding. Maybe I need to put that component on the rigid body itself instead of on a child object. I'm going to try that. And since changes in play mode don't save when you exit play mode, I don't have to fix the collider again. It's going to fix it. It's going to go back to what it was. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to move this component onto my parent object and get rid of this child object. If that does anything. Oh, it did not. It actually did save it. So, oh, because I did it in the prefab. That's right. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. Okay. Damage character on collision. Let's try ignore shield. Maybe that's why. All right, try again. Here we go. What happens? Boom. Success. And we do have a red error down here, but hey, it worked. So that is good enough for me for right now. I'll check that red error out and fix it. Do it again. Oh, I just did it because I touched the piano. Yeah. Alright, cool. It works.